Hey guys, welcome to the Legacy Wealth Show. I got my buddy Corey Rayment here. Corey, what's up, man?
Not much, man. How you doing, Tim?
Dude, rocking and rolling. So it's obviously chaotic. There's a lot of stuff going on with the coronavirus right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. But dude, you're still doing deals. So
Still doing deals.
I love it. So I wanted
Yes.
to have you on, man. And I know we see eye to eye. We're in a couple mastermind stuff together, and talking about doing some more deals together. And I'd love to talk about your background. I want to know a little bit more about what you've done. Let everybody know what you've done, what you have going on right now. And although coronavirus is spooking some people, it's not affecting your personal economy. And I want to hit on. And then I want to talk about this new apartment deal, dude, that you just took down. So
yeah, man.
Let's start from the top. Why don't you give everybody a rundown of how you got into real estate?
Yeah, cool, man. Well, appreciate you having me on here, Tim, man. It's awesome. And a year ago, I was thinking about this when we were doing this today. I'm like, I didn't even know you a year ago. So it's pretty cool to see, what's happened with the relationships and stuff like that. It's been great. Got into real estate back in like 2016, I think. Honestly, my wife and I think we talked about this previously. We were in network marketing for a while. So we got a taste of that residual income coming in, do the work once, and then just, farm it, and it keeps producing. We liked that idea, but we were like kind of capped out on what we could see as the potential. Like my goal was to get out of my 9-to-5 job and replace my income with something. And network marketing at the time we were making money from it and all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't getting us further ahead. We saw there was kind of a dead end to it. And so I remember I was at my neighbor had a garage sale, and I went over there, and they had Rich Dad Poor Dad on the shelf. And I was like, oh, I've heard of this book before. And they wanted like 75 cents or something. So I gave them like 2 beers, and they gave me the book. And I read it that fall or that winter. Carrie and I and my wife were taking a trip to Hawaii, read the book, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is what we got to get into. We got to get into real estate. We got to get out of all this other crap we're into and just focus on real estate. This is going to get me out of corporate America. So we started going around, and originally we wanted to just buy like single family or duplex rentals. We started, going around with a real estate agent, and we realized that was probably not the right avenue to get deals. And so we started hooking up with some people.
What year is this, by the way?
That was 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. So summer of 2016, we had an offer in on a side or upper lower duplex in Green Bay, which is where I'm from. And it fell apart, thankfully. It fell apart because otherwise I'd take all my money that I had available, put it as a down payment, and I would have been cashed out and probably sitting there with one property for the next 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
So we started going to RIAs and figuring out how people were doing this stuff with getting 50 units, 100 units, whatever. We started getting into that. We found wholesaling, and I know you got a background in wholesaling as well. And that's kind of what we started to realize was going to get you out of corporate America quick. Versus starting to acquire some doors, they take a little while, as you know, to get the cash flow rolling. And so we did that, got our first wholesale deal, our first rental, and we did a lease option on our old house, like all within a matter of a month at the end of 2016, early 2017, and just been loving it ever since, man.
So what's your primary business focus right now?
Primarily wholesaling. That's the day-to-day. We've got employees for that company and that sort of stuff. The rental side of things has been more of like for our long-term, kind of almost like we're building our own retirement plan with it.
How many deals are you guys doing on a monthly, annual basis?
Wholesale wise, I think we do about like 50 a year. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
So 50 a year. What have you seen from a wholesale standpoint moving forward? There's a lot of uncertainty with the coronavirus. A lot of people are scared.
Yeah.
A lot of people are running. Obviously, we know that Warren Buffett says when there's blood in the streets, buy, right? Like that's the time to buy, and that's a time to go out and do deals. A lot of people are worried about like the economy and what they hear on the news and all this other nonsense. But like, what's going on with your economy? Like what's happening with your world right now and the deals?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're shut down now in Wisconsin as far as like we're not supposed to go anywhere that is non-essential or whatever, right? So it's forcing us to get more creative in our business. I feel like it's forcing us to do some things, like we're going to start doing some more virtual wholesaling, and we're trying to dive into that stuff we wanted to do, but we just kind of put it on the back burner because we're just going through grinding every day and do it. But we're still doing deals. I think we got 4 or 5 deals that are all assigned, ready to close in the next 30 days. Title companies here are still open. Banks are still open. So everything is still going forward as normal with those deals. So it hasn't changed anything other than I've noticed a big shift in the way that our conversations are happening with our sellers who are calling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much different conversation now than it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where they were probably more in the buy, they were more in the seller market. Now they understand things have shifted and people had a price that was, 20% higher. Now they're willing to take less, but now we have to adjust down even further, as you and I were kind of talking about before we hopped on here. And so it's kind of an interesting dynamic to see. I wasn't in real estate back in 08,
I know,
09,
man.
10, 11. So
dude, get ready.
I know. I'm like, this is kind of fun. I kind of like it. So I get why people are freaking out, and I understand there's going to be some uncertainty with the rentals that we have, but there's a lot of programs and stuff. It sounds like they're going to be implementing, and a lot will shake out. I'm sure by the time this thing hits somebody's earbuds, there'll probably be a lot of stuff.
Did you see the letter that I sent out yesterday to all of our tenants about paying rent and everything?
I think so.
Empire Facebook group.
Yep.
Yeah. So one of the things that we did is I'm in the mindset of like, this is business as usual. We're all still moving forward. Everybody's still responsible for my bills. Tenants are still responsible for paying their bills, right? And but you do it in a tactful way, right? You're not coming off as an asshole,
right?
You do it in a tactful way. It says, hey, listen, I cannot support the building and maintain it and pay the heating bill and pay the electric bills and pay for the trash service and pay for the maintenance and pay for the safety and security and all these different things and maintain the laundry facilities, all this stuff. Because I use money from rent in order to maintain the building.
Right.
I can't do those things unless you're paying your rent. So I think it's really important to convey that message to tenants so they understand it's not just some, rich landlord sitting up in a mountain house somewhere diving into coins like
Scrooge McDuck over there.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to convey that message to them.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, listen, if you absolutely cannot pay rent because of a hardship, because you lost your job and you can prove it,
right,
then we will work with you, but you have to be proactive. If we're chasing after you, not going to be okay. If you come to us now and you let us know that you lost your job, we will help set you up with some different programs. And then we put some bullet points in there of a bunch of different subsidy programs, nonprofit organizations, local churches, and all sorts of different stuff like unemployment. Like, here's how to file unemployment. We gave them a step-by-step. Here's how to contact Jobs and Family Services, and all these different food supplement programs, rent supplement programs, income supplement programs. Just making sure that people know all that stuff. So I think
that's awesome.
But the reality is, man, that's the most we can do. And what I do know is that multifamily and residential rentals, at least, even if it's single family, duplexes, whatever, is the most insulated of all asset classes. Do you think people are going to pay their home rent or their office rent first?
Right.
Or their home rent or their storage rent or their home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or their retail rent. And so I think all the other asset classes are going to get really bad shit. Like, if something happens to us, they're in even worse shape.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so many people in such bad condition that we're going to have to, the government's going to have to step in and help everybody out because of that situation. So
yeah, we're seeing some calls already from people who have commercial buildings, which we're not really in the commercial space. As far as when I talk commercial, I mean office or dental offices or these types of things. They're calling us asking if we can do something for them, and that's not our asset class, so we're kind of turn them away, or
just turn them off.
Turn them off, or turn them to a real estate. Turn them to a real estate agent. We get a referral fee if they end up listing it and selling it or something. But
yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things where if the numbers make sense, we're still maintaining that, right? And so we're talking to them, and one of the things that we're doing is we're talking to them from a standpoint of, hey, listen, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, as you know, right?
Yeah.
And so here's what we can do. There's zero financing options for office and hospitality right now.
Yeah.
It does not exist. And most retail also. Like zero financing. The only thing that anybody's still lending on a little bit because of federal mandates is multifamily.
Yeah.
And so, right now, nobody could buy anything with financing. So one of the conversations we're having is, will you seller finance it to us? Right. So, hey, no problem. We'll still buy as long as you're willing to seller finance it. And it gets us into some deals at a lower price point with them holding the paper. So now it's non-recourse. It's my attorneys drafting it up, so it's non-recourse, minimal down payment, like terms that are very beneficial to us. And so we're having those conversations. We haven't closed on anything yet, but we're having a lot of those conversations. The other thing that we're doing is we're putting options on a lot of properties. So we're just
nice.
And for like a 6 month, so we're locking in a certain price point for the next 6 months, and we're doing like, hey, here's $10, for the option to buy your place at $2 million. And,
wow.
Maybe today it's worth $3 million. Maybe in 6 months, it lets us ride out the storm though. And in 6 months from now, we can say, hey, now it's worth $4 million. Let's take it down. Or it's only worth $2.1 million. Let's either renegotiate it or just walk away. So,
oh, that's awesome, dude. I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah. So I think that's some cool stuff that could definitely be done to capitalize on the situation here. And obviously, like, we're talking about capitalizing on situations, not on taking advantage of people. Right?
Totally.
So I think that's a big mindset shift too for a lot of people, is make sure that we're not trying to hope people are in a desperate circumstance. But the reality is, like, there's a lot of people who are in a tight spot and they'd rather have cash in their pocket and less cash in their pocket with peace of mind than try to get the most they could possibly get for a certain property. So it does set up a situational opportunity for us to get involved in deals that we can help still solve problems for sellers and get involved.
That's great.
What's going on with your buyers? So you still have 5 wholesale deals closing in the next 30 days. Your buyers, anybody kind of, hey, I'm waiting to buy, I'm holding off for a little bit, anything like that?
Yeah, we've kind of seen like half and half so far. I haven't had really the opportunity to go through and try to connect with a lot of our more active buyers to find out what's been going on, because we have had some deals come up and we've been kind of just trying, let's get some revenue coming in the door to keep things moving forward and all that sort of stuff. And it's been great. We've been very fortunate on that and things, but I've seen kind of both ends of the spectrum. Like, some guys and gals are really overreacting, I would say. Like, there's some great deals that are still being had, and they're like, oh, this is going to be like bottom of the barrel back in 2008. Like, I'm waiting till everything hits zero again before they're going to buy. And then there's the other people that are like, hey, this is still a great deal in 6 months to a year. When everything comes back in their mind, then I'm going to stand to either make a healthy profit on this thing, or I'm going to be able to pick something up and cash flow it for the long haul. So I'm kind of getting both ends of the spectrum. I mean, some people that are just pumping the brakes and holding off and just keeping cash, not doing anything. So I kind of got a mixed bag. I've got some people that came out of the woodwork now that haven't ever bought anything from us, and now are coming to some of our stuff and want to get back involved again, because, as Warren Buffett says, right? There's some blood in the streets, so they're coming back out. So.
And part of the conversation here, especially in these times, it's important to, there's 2 types of people out there. There's thermostats and there's thermometers. Here's what I mean by that. The thermostat sets the temperature. It does the influencing, right? Yep. The thermometer is the one that goes up and down based on being influenced. And a lot of people right now are being influenced in a big way. They are thermometers of individuals, right? Yep. And they're up some days, they're down other days. They're letting the media influence them in major ways. And people like us, who are the thermostats, who set the temperature, who set expectations. Like, I have the same conversations with some of my private money lenders, with buyers of properties, and also I'm like, listen, what are you going to time the market? Who are you, friggin' Nostradamus? Like, what do you have time the friggin' market?
Right.
Like, the best way to capitalize on this is to buy good deals today. Yeah. And you keep on buying, and you just keep your dollar cost averaging over time. Yeah. And so 2009, 2010, you're not going to buy properties because you think it's going to bottom out in 2012. You can buy anything in 2009, 2010 for pennies on the dollar. Yeah. And like, if you're a good real estate investor and a good business person in any capacity, like, you can make deals in a good economy. You can make deals in a bad economy. It's just, how is the deal structured? Are you always buying at a wholesale price? Are you always creating appreciation or creating value in some capacity, right? Yeah. Buying for cash flow. Like there's still amazing deals to be had right now.
Oh, yeah.
Whether we're at the bottom or not,
Right.
So
totally.
I think it's an important key. And don't let other people, your buyers, your sellers, whoever, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm selling this to the audience, but don't let other people influence you. You should be the thermostat. You should be the one doing the influencing, educating people that it's still a great time to buy. It's still a great time to invest. It's still a great time to take deals down, because of the uncertainty that's in the market. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on doing deals over time, and it'll dollar cost average out across all of our deals. And, dude, I firmly believe, I've been saying this, dude, everybody, all the conversations, people who call me up, I'm like, dude, I've waited the past 15 years for the next 15 months.
Yes.
Like, I am so friggin' amped up about what's about to happen. And
Yes.
I'm buying a deal next week that's 130 units that I contracted before all this stuff went down. I'm buying another one, 196 units in next month that I contracted before all this went down. Could I go back and renegotiate? Maybe. We might. But would I walk away from that deal? No, it's a friggin' great deal. It's a deal still. So I'm not going to walk away from deals that are still good deals. Like, you just keep on doing it. And if that's going to set you up with a balance sheet and the ability to close on the bigger deals that are total grand slams in the future. So
I think it's great too, just being part of like the masterminds and stuff like that, being around other people. Like for me, only being in real estate since 2016, the thing I always hear in the masterminds is like, oh, just wait, you haven't been through 08, you don't know what you're talking about, right? I'm kind of excited to get through this, because then I can be like, hey, I was there for Corona. I was there through Corona, but I can learn from all those people that were there, right? And so I think that's important to see. Like, there's so many people that regret, that I've just known, that are high-level real estate investors that I met, that regret not being more active back in 08, 09, 2010. They're like, man, if I would have only done this back then and kept buying, like you're saying, and kept doing my thing, gosh, I'd be so many more millions net worth right now, and all that sort of stuff. So I've kind of used that. I'm very much the gas pedal carries more of the brakes in our relationship. So there's a little tension at home now, because I'm like, let's go. And she's like, let's make sure we're doing it right. And but like you said, if it's a good deal, it's a good deal. I'm not gonna pass it up.
Yeah, man. Got to keep rocking and rolling, man. Don't let fear paralyze you.
That's right.
Keep on buying. Real estate over time will always be an awesome deal, and you're great at finding wholesale price deals, right? Like, that's the key here. The construction budget is a fixed cost, right? It's a fixed price. The stabilized value, that's a fixed number. So as long as you can back in from the stabilized to and deduct out construction costs, leave some profit in there, and you buy it at a wholesale price, you'll always be good to go.
Yep. Totally.
So what else are people saying in the different masterminds that you're in? What are you seeing from some of the seasoned investors? What are they telling you? How are they advising you on some stuff?
Just, like cash is king is the theme out there from a lot of folks that I consistently keep seeing. It's kind of been the theme, in CG for us for a while. And I'm grateful that it is, because when everything started going down, I was sleeping like a baby at night. No issues, right? Because we had that reserve set up. So that's been kind of the biggest thing. Lines of credit. This was something I didn't really ever think about, but drawing down the line of credit and getting that liquid into a different bank account.
Yep.
That was something that was a huge nugget for me. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could do that. Right. So we started to do that just to get more liquid over the next couple months, and just be ready for good deals. Having the cash right now is going to be like, we're going to be able to pick up some smoking deals if we can make it super easy on our sellers. And when other people can't get loans, we're going to have the cash. So
love it, dude.
That's kind of been the big theme.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely, man. There's going to be, I think going back to your previous point, is cash is king and cash flow is king, right? You need like, if you got a ton of cash but no cash flow, it's not that exciting, right? If you got a ton of cash flow but no cash, you're kind of waiting every single month.
Right.
You need a little bit of both. And what some of the stuff that we're doing, a couple of bullet points, is generating as much cash as we possibly can. So we are wholesaling. We are selling off some of our smaller apartment buildings right now. I'm going to seller finance them, get some cash in, still maintain some of the cash flow too.
Nice.
Right. We're working on refinancing some stuff, and we're still raising money for new deals, and we're over raising and making sure we have big reserves for each of those deals. And so that way we can cover operating costs and we can capitalize on new opportunities.
That's awesome.
That pop. So yeah. And one of the other things, like from a personal standpoint, I've never really done the whole, like, dude, I hate dealing with banks. Every time they ask me for paperwork, I'm like, dude, I'm not dealing with this shit. 3 times as much interest to a private investor who will wire me money tomorrow. Right.
Right.
So, but right now, like, we're putting a HELOC on our house. We're doing, I'm going to go get a business line of credit from my bank tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
With them at 2:00. And again, just pulling the cash. I would rather have cash and debt
Yep.
than no cash and no debt, right?
Right.
And so we already got some cash, obviously, but I want
Right.
more cash, and I'm
Right.
okay having a little bit of debt at 3.5%, 4%. Who gives a crap, right?
Exactly.
And just pull out as much as you can, because guys like us, we know how to go out and deploy it into
Yep.
better deals. So
Yep.
that's good,
Totally.
man. So what are you doing with how many rentals do you have right now?
I think we're at 106 doors.
Dude, congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
How many did you have when we met one-on-one? What was it, last fall, right?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if we'd closed on a 28 unit then, or if we were about to close
Yeah, I
on
think
it,
you were
but
like right in the process of
we
closing
were
on the
right in
one
the
you just
process
had.
of it. So yeah, so we were probably like around 40s, probably in
Yeah,
the 40s.
I love it,
So
dude. So
yeah.
so tell me a little bit about what it's been like transitioning from single family, wholesale, single family, fix and flips, single family rentals into the apartment game.
Man, I love it, man. It's just like the scales of economy. It just jacks me up. Like seeing
Yeah.
net operating income and applying a cap rate and then just seeing the value. And it's so simple to me. Like it's way easier than trying to find comparable sales on a duplex. And then
Yeah.
the appraiser comes through and they don't use the ones that are obvious and they use whatever one they want to use and it screws up your net worth based on one dude's
Yep.
opinion, right?
Yep.
Or like apartment, it's like here's the numbers, here's the cap rate, here's the value. And it's so easy to predict when you're buying how much spread you're going to have and how much you can stick into it. Like it took a little while. I mean, the first couple of apartments we did, and this is probably really before we even met you, I think we overpaid for them now looking back on it. I don't regret it because it got us in the apartment game. We bought a couple 16 units within about 6 months of each other. And we're still putting cash into them every month to get them remodeled. And it's been a slow burn of cash. We're not really making anything on them right now, but I don't regret it because I know in a year they're going to be just fine and we'll have everything handled and then they'll cash flow. But the one that we just picked up, we've got plenty of spread. We built in all of our rehab costs up front to do all the big CapEx stuff and take care of it all right away. Based on a lot of stuff I learned from sitting with you in your office in Cleveland, man. And I appreciate everything that I learned from you because
Yeah, man.
It helped us a ton when we structured this deal to make sure that we were
And
covering a
dude,
lot of that stuff.
tell everybody how you came across it, right? We're sitting in my office in Cleveland. You're like, dude, how are you getting these apartments? And what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah. So you were talking about how you just send an email out to, your network and you've just built up a ton of contacts and all the realtor contacts and anybody involved with MLS in your area. I was like, well, I already have that list from in my area. And so you and I just sat down, we wrote up an email right there on the spot, sent it out. I think we had phone was blowing up the rest of the day.
I
I think
know,
it's like
right?
50 people respond.
It was just before lunch. It was like 11 o'clock. And I remember we went and grabbed lunch, like a late lunch at whatever,
Yeah.
1, 2 o'clock. And yeah, you had 40, 50, 60 emails and responses right thereafter. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that one didn't produce the deal. But you were talking about staying consistent with that messaging and tweaking it here and there, depending on what you're looking for. So I sent out another one like 2 weeks later. I got a little more specific with my buying criteria on it. The first one was kind of more like, hey, I've got a certain amount of money and I'm looking to deploy it by the end of the year. And then the second one was a little more specific about what I was looking for because I was getting a lot of people sending me listings and stuff like that, which is fine. It got the conversation rolling. It got me in front of them. But then the second one, I sent out my financial advisors on our email list. And he called me up. He had a client who went through a divorce like a year before. And she was self-managing this 39 unit mixed use building. And she was ready to be done, just cash it in. And he just called me up and said, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested in this area, but she wants to sell it. And he told me like some numbers on it. He didn't know exactly how many units or whatever. I'm like, well, hook it up, man. So he got me her contact info and went direct to her. And we talked a couple times and went down there and took a look at it and negotiated a little bit. And it was pretty easy.
I love it, dude. So
Yeah.
what is it, 34 apartments and 5 retail spaces you told me?
Yep.
Awesome. How occupied was it when you bought it?
Right now, we just closed on it about a month ago at the time we're recording this. And I think we've got like, including the commercial units, all the commercial units were vacant when I bought it. I think we're at like 11 units that are vacant, including the 5 commercial.
What are you doing to push the rentals on the commercial stuff? That's a little bit awkward time right now, right?
Yeah. So I use property management for all my stuff right now because it's kind of fragmented all over the place. But what the property management company we brought in has a connection to a commercial broker. So they're they're pushing it out through their network right now.
Yeah.
As the last one. So
dude, I would just get somebody in there ASAP, right? Like one of the things that we're doing is like we have some storage facilities, and we have one storage facility that's 30% occupied or something. When we bought it at pennies on the dollar, dude. We're all into this thing for like 40 cents on the dollar. And I was telling my JV partner yesterday, I'm like, dude, we don't need market rate rent. I don't need a premium. I don't even need market rate. I want half of market rate. I don't even care. I just want occupancy in there. I said, dude, rent it and give a free month rent for every month that they pay rent on time. Right. Yeah. So you pay rent on time, next month's free. You pay rent on time.
That's a great idea.
I was like, dude, who cares? Just get people in, because once somebody's in for an office tenant, a retail tenant, or like a storage tenant, they're not leaving. You know, I mean, they're locked in for years, so they don't want to move anything. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. Just get somebody in, get some sort of revenue generating, get a long-term lease in place, and get aggressive, and make sure you're conveying that to your brokers, to your joint venture partners. Because
that's great.
As long as you're buying and you bought it at a wholesale price,
right?
As long as you buy it at the right price, it doesn't even matter. And so that's what gives you so many different options, right? Just buying at a wholesale price. Right. That's the key to this whole game.
Yeah.
So that's good, man. Awesome. I love it. What else is going on? What is the goal for the next 6 months, 12 months? What is that going to look like?
I mean, honestly, the goal for us right now, we want to get our wholesale business completely functioning without us for the most part. I mean, obviously we're still going to have to be working on it, but not in it on a full-time basis. So we made a couple hires actually before all the Corona craziness happened, but it's been a good thing actually. We haven't had to let anybody go or anything like that. So we're getting those guys all trained up, ready to rock and roll. And then that kind of removes Carrie and I, and then we kind of consider us like 2 levels away from having to be in the business at that point. We'll kind of have some people who can replace other people if something happens to them.
Yep.
And then it's going to be along the same lines, really just dialing in, getting into the numbers with our rentals right now, and really get those things running as efficiently and as effectively as possible. I know it's going to be a little bit of a challenge depending on what happens with all this stuff, but at least just getting the expenses dialed in, cutting back on as much as we can on those things, holding our property managers' feet to the fire more than what we have been, and just really trying to get these 160 units operating to the level that they should be operating at. And obviously, again, if good deals come across the plate, we're gonna pick them up. I mean, I'm not passing on any good deals, man. That's for sure. But for the next 6 months, it's really just going to be dialing in on focusing on getting the stuff we have right now really cash flowing as best we can.
Yeah. So building up the cash, up the cash flow, putting yourself in a position to take advantage of a lot of these opportunities that will be arising over the course of the next 12, 18 months. So good stuff, brother. Well, dude, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for sharing the story. Yeah,
absolutely.
We're gonna get connected again, and I'm sure I'll see you at some of the upcoming events and stuff too. So, dude, proud of you, man. It's exciting stuff, and you're just getting started. So
well, I appreciate
a lot of good things in the works.
I appreciate everything, man, that you've taught me, and going to the events and sitting with you one-on-one and just everything, man. I just look back over, like I said, since October, how much has changed even just in one transaction. Yeah. Like one transaction, and how much cash flow that can add, and how much equity that adds, and net worth that adds, and just one deal. I love it, man. And I appreciate everything. You're just a go-giver, dude. And you're always out there dropping knowledge bombs, and you're being the leader, dude. So I love it.
Appreciate you, man.
You bet.
Well, appreciate you guys. Another episode, Legacy Wealth Show. Hope you guys get a ton of value. Make sure you're connected with Corey. Corey, where can people connect with you?
I got an Instagram, Corey Rayment on Instagram. That's COREYREYMENT, and then Facebook's probably the place I'm most active. So catch me out on Facebook and hit me up with a message or something.
Awesome. This guy is an absolute rock star. So make sure you guys connect with Corey. He's a stud, phenomenal person, and look forward to building some wealth with you too, buddy. So
man.
Appreciate you guys. And until next time, see you on the Legacy Wealth Show.